At a rally in a parking lot outside his campaign headquarters in Florence, Kentucky, on Saturday, Congressman Thomas Massie said that the Republican politicians who joined him had made a brave choice. "I'm sure they'll be punished for coming here today," he said.
As dawn breaks, hundreds of men gather at a dusty square in Chagcharan, the capital of Ghor province in Afghanistan. They line the roadside, hoping someone will come along offering any work. It will determine whether their families eat that day.
Alabama is one of the several states in the United States heading to the polls on Tuesday for primary elections. But this primary season has an unexpected hiccup for voters in the deep red southern state. Some may have to return to the ballot box in a few months.
Neymar has made Brazil's World Cup squad, a selection many local analysts and former footballers deemed unlikely only days ago. The 34-year-old is Brazil's all-time top goal scorer with 79, but has struggled to return to top fitness since he tore his left ACL in October 2023.
Arsenal are on the brink of ending a 22-year wait to win the Premier League after beating Burnley 1-0 to open up a 5-point lead at the top. Kai Havertz headed in the only goal on Monday, but was also lucky to avoid a second-half red card that could have swung the title race back in Manchester City's favour. US President Donald Trump has announced that he is delaying a planned attack on Iran, which was scheduled for tomorrow, after appeals from Qatar, Saudi Arabia and the UAE to allow for more talks. Al Jazeera's Alan Fisher breaks down what Trump said.
Bolivian security forces have clashed with followers of ex-President Evo Morales as they marched into the capital as part of a nationwide protest movement fueled by the nation's worst economic crisis in a generation. After a 6-day march through the Andes, thousands of maramites and slingshots, some converged on the capital dynamite sticks La Paz on Monday, where they were met by riot police.
Pep Guardiola will leave Manchester City after a decade in charge, according to widespread reports, bringing to our close one of the most successful spells in Premier League history. Former Chelsea boss Enzo Maresca, who led the Blues to FIFA Club World Cup victory last year, is expected to replace him.
Drug discovery is one of the most expensive failures in modern industry. Finding a single viable molecule can take a decade and cost billions, and most candidates still don't make it. A generation of AI startups has promised to fix that. Most have made the problem less painful for researchers, who are already technically sophisticated enough to use the tools. But Sandbox AQ thinks the bottleneck isn't the models, it's the interface.
A worker died at SpaceX's Starbase launch site in South Texas on Friday, and the Occupational Health and Safety Administration, OSHA, has opened an investigation. The San Antonio Express News reported Monday that the unidentified victim died at around 4:17 a.m. local time on May 15, citing OSHA and local officials. The Wall Street Journal later reported that the county sheriff confirmed to the outlet that a worker died. OSHA confirmed to TechCrunch that it is investigating the apparent accident.
At least 4 people have been killed and 30 injured in Kenya amid nationwide protests over sharply rising fuel prices. At least 348 people were arrested on Monday, according to Interior Minister Kipchumba Murkomen, as people gathered in the streets to show support for a nationwide public transport strike. United States President Donald Trump has announced he will postpone a scheduled attack against Iran at the request of regional leaders in the Middle East. The reversal, he said, came in light of the fact that serious negotiations are now taking place.
The race pitting a candidate endorsed by President Donald Trump against Congressman Thomas Massie, a rare Republican critic of Israel, has become the most expensive House of Representatives primary contest in the history of the United States. The avalanche of spending, totaling more than 34 mitters by Monday, according to official records, highlights the significance of the elections that could oust one of the few Republican opponents to the war with Iran. Cuba has announced that the country is nearly out of fuel following months of increasing pressure from Washington. The US cut off oil shipments from Venezuela to Cuba, then imposed a near-total oil blockade.
The administration of United States President Donald Trump has moved to dismiss criminal fraud charges against Indian billionaire Gautam in a case where he is accused of bribing Indian officials for as much as 265 meters to secure contracts and lying to US investors to land a solar energy project in India, allegations that his company has longed. The case after Adani pledged by the US Department of Justice, DJ Adani, pledged a $10 BN investment in the US.
US President Donald Trump has said he is holding off a military attack on Iran planned for Tuesday at the request of Gulf states as serious negotiations are now taking place. In a post on Truth Social, he said he had been asked to do so by the leaders of Qatar, Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. Iranian human rights activist and 2023 Nobel Peace Prize, Narges Mohammadi has returned to her home after being discharged from hospital. Her foundation said Mohammadi, 54, was released from Pars Hospital in Tehran on Sunday, the Narges Foundation said on Monday. She was transferred from prison to a hospital in early May after she had 2 episodes of loss of consciousness and a severe cardiac crisis. Palestinian group Fatah concluded its 8th General Conference late Saturday, but the results of the elections of the group's leadership bodies, the Central Committee and Revolutionary Council, were not announced until Monday afternoon. The delay compelled Wael Lafi, the head of the Elections Committee in the General Conference, who is also the legal advisor of the Palestinian president, to defend the process and delay even before convening questions about membership, funding, and the general political direction of the group, which dominates the Palestinian Authority, overshadowed preparations for the General Conference.
Police in California have said they are responding to an active shooter at a mosque in San Diego. The authorities called on residents in Monday to avoid the area of the incident at the Islamic Center of San Diego, ICSD. Anthropic announced Monday it has acquired Stainless, a startup founded by former Stripe engineer Alex Rattray, whose software is widely used by rival AI labs, including OpenAI and Google. Anthropic didn't disclose terms of the deal. However, the information reported last week that the company was in talks to acquire Stainless, which is backed by Sequoia Capital and Andreessen Horowitz, for more than $300 million.
A California jury has tossed out Elon Musk's high-profile lawsuit against OpenAI and its boss Sam Altman. In a unanimous verdict, the case was thrown out because Musk had filed his lawsuit after a statute of limitations to bring such claims had expired. Military units in Belarus have begun joint training exercises with Russia on nuclear weapons combat. The Belarusian Ministry of Defense has announced. The ministry said on Monday that the exercise was a planned event and not directed at any specific third party, according to a statement quoted by the Interfax news agency.
Next Era Energy is seeking to acquire Dominion Energy in an all-stock deal valued at about $67 BN, creating a massive power company as the energy needs of artificial intelligence drive demand higher in the United States. It is one of the biggest proposed mergers so far this year and would create the world's largest regulated electric utility business by market capitalization, the companies said on Monday. Voters are preparing to head to the polls for a primary election in Pennsylvania, an eastern US state that has served as a crucial battleground in recent national elections. Republican and Democratic candidates are facing off to represent their respective parties in the upcoming midterm elections in November, a test for United States President Donald Trump's second term that could determine control of the US Congress for the remainder of his time in office.
Somaliland has marked its first year of independence following recognition by Israel, but not everyone in the breakaway region of Somalia is celebrating its new ally. Thousands gathered in the capital, Hargeisa, on Monday for a military parade and traditional dances. Excitement was heightened after Israel's decision in December. The first country to do so, sole autonomy Somaliland is the first country to do so since autonomy from Somalia was declared in 1991. Cuba's President Miguel Diaz-Canel has said that the island nation does not seek confrontation, but warned that United States military action against it would result in a bloodbath. The president said in a social media post on Monday, and does not have aggressive intentions against any country, but had the absolute legitimate right to defend military threats. Defend itself if the US follows through on mounting military threats.
Elon Musk's $150 billion lawsuit against OpenAI has been rejected in court and declared in favour of the artificial intelligence company he helped establish. Decrypt reported a short while ago. A California jury ruled on Monday against Musk and dismissed all his claims against OpenAI CEO Sam Altman and co-founder Greg Brockman.
A US jury on Monday ruled against Elon Musk in his lawsuit against OpenAI, finding the artificial intelligence company not liable to the world's richest person for having allegedly strayed from its original mission to benefit humanity. In a unanimous verdict, the jury in Oakland, California federal court said Musk had brought his case too late.
Islamabad, opposition lawmakers on Monday staged a protest on the National Assembly floor, demanding proper medical care for incarcerated PTI founder and former Prime Minister Imran Khan. During today's session, PTI members did not point out a lack of quorum as the session commenced, which was chaired by Deputy Speaker Ghulam Mustafa Shah.
Pakistan on Monday strongly condemned drone attacks on Saudi Arabia and expressed solidarity with the kingdom. A statement from the Foreign Office, FO, said. In a post on X, Saudi Arabia's defence ministry reported that 3 drones were intercepted and destroyed on Monday morning, having originated from Iraqi airspace. The United Arab Emirates condemned the incident earlier today, while Iraq said it is investigating the incident.